Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me, as always, in this epic crossover of epic proportions, we have Philip Gilfus and Darren Moser. Guys, I know you're from your own separate franchises, but here we are. We're cross-mingling here. This is pretty fantastic. How are you guys doing?
You know, I'm happy. I mean, once the lawyers at drsci-fi.com, ironed out my involvement, I can legally say I'm happy that for this crossover event.
And it's been interesting to add after credit scenes to classic Doctor Who episodes that lead to my appearance here. I think, yeah, it's definitely all comes together.
So it's Avengers fever is going on right now. We've just learned that it's the biggest opening weekend of all time in the box office.
Which I love that they always say that like Sunday morning, and I'm like, did Sunday get demoted? It's not really part of the weekend.
Well, now that you have Thursday instead of Friday, so.
I guess.
And if you break the record before the end of Sunday, I guess it still counts as breaking the record.
So if the box office groundhog comes out and sees its shadow, that means that they've broken, by Saturday instead of Sunday.
Though I do have to say, I did see Black Panther because I don't live at the movies and I'm catching up like a regular person.
It is still in theaters
this weekend.
So.
Yeah, well, no one. Yeah, but it was cool because I went to this sort of movie tavern kind of movie theater. But it was cool because I was booking the theater. I've never been to this one before, but it's in Chapel Hill. But I was booking online. You get your seats online. There's 3 rows. I'm like, this can't possibly be right. But that's because Black Panther's sort of in the intimate theater section, instead of the block. Well, this is cool, right?
It's like literally, it's like a tiny theater with 3 rows.
Yes, literally. I mean, and you get your beer and food delivered to you.
Right.
And yeah, so
it's not a bad idea.
It was cool.
Interesting fact. Black Panther actually got a boost in sales from the Avengers this weekend.
Well, I was part of that.
Yeah, it moved up from.
What if they never take Black Panther out of the theaters?
Out of the movie theater,
literally Wakanda forever.
I wonder what is. This is trivia for anyone who wants to do this. What has been the longest Marvel movie in the MCU that has been in the theaters?
I would venture to guess it was Avengers, but that's just. The first Avengers.
Yeah, I would guess that too. Just because, it's not like the days of like Star Wars where it'd be in theaters for like a year and a half and then they'd bring it back for like another year. Like, that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Before we start, we've been hit with a legal claim and we appreciate any support that you can give us. So please check us out on our GoFundMe page at gofundme.com/thenerdparty. Any support that you can give would be greatly appreciated. And you can check out all of the details there.
So, I guess lots of Star Trek news.
Oh, yeah. No. Hey, guys. So, sorry. So to start off on the Marvel news channel, it's just kind of what it is. But I thought this was an appropriate time. I wanted to do a sort of Star Trek crossover topic. And because I'm in that mood. But I thought I wanted to bring it. I kind of wanted to bring it back together with with new Star Trek. So Star Trek Discovery Season 1 is come and gone. We've actually got our first taste of Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Did you guys see the promo?
I did not. I did. Folks who listen to this know Star Trek Discovery Season 1 is not the greatest taste in my mouth. But, that said, I'm going in with open-minded Season 2. That's why I avoided the trailer or teaser. I don't want to be like, oh, look, that, I don't want anything to taint it. So, I have seen some stills and some fan discussions, but no, I'm trying to avoid things, go in, be like that first time I saw the pilot of Discovery and, excited about new Star Trek. So I have not, I know there's, talks about ship designs and uniform designs and whatever, but, here we go.
So we can talk about it as long as we don't show you pictures.
I'm closing my eyes, just like our listeners are. No, don't, you're driving. Don't do that.
I did like the Discovery uniforms in the classic TOS color schemes. I thought those were really cool. So I'm excited.
I think it was, like you said, it's a little teaser. And I was talking with Philip, a little earlier today, and I mean, nothing really surprised me because they told us they were going to transition from Discovery to more like TOS from the very beginning. It's just, this is the age of the internet, so your stuff is judged half a second before it even airs, and we just got through one season. I think we're going to look back on Discovery 10 years from now when we look back
and laugh.
Well, I guess it'll be easier to see the grand scheme of what they did, because now we live in the age of long-term television where there's lots of thought often put into different things. So I think, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, Jonathan Frakes is becoming, the new Spider-Man, and the fact that he reveals as much as he wants, as fast as he wants. I think we already know which episode he's directing and who is in it. But no, but what are we? It's like early 2019 at this point that we're gonna get it. Like, we're not getting it for a while, so I'm not.
We've
really
got a good year at least.
Caring as much. Like,
but guys,
more
we have
things on my
2
plate.
Star Trek movies coming out. Apparently.
Do we, Philip? Do we?
It's a really weird time to be a Star Trek fan.
It is. It's like, hey guys, don't you want a new TV show and some new movies? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, here's a TV show and some possible new movies. And we're like, okay.
So the big looming thing, right, is the possible merger between CBS and Paramount. And
which I do not think is going to solve anything. It's going to just make it,
But I mean, by then the X-Men will be available for Star Trek, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. No? Okay. Planet X. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, if Star Trek had a like you mentioned earlier, Darren, a Kevin Feige, like, how amazing could it be? It would be awesome. Like, we could potentially have TV shows and movies crossing over, like in the heyday of the 90s. Like, this could be something that we could have in Star Trek. We're not there. We're just not there because of the rights issues, because of there's 8,000 people steering the ship at this point, too many cooks, as they say. It's kind of frustrating, but
I mean, I would kind of reflex and be like, oh, really? But like, if one of those movies was a JJ Prime crossover, I'd be like, okay, tell me more before I complain.
Yeah. I think we could get to a place where we could have a unified Star Trek universe, and it could really be interesting. We could be cooking with gas, and we could have some really cool stories that you can't do in any other sort of sci-fi franchise or medium or anything. We're just not there.
Is this Crisis on Infinity Treks?
Exactly so. Anyways, it's neither here nor there, although I do have Avengers on the brain, so I wanted to kind of talk about a crossover technically, but we'll start the bare minimum. Star Trek Discovery ended with the interception, I guess you would say, of the U.S.S. Enterprise. That was the end scene that we got. Now, I thought about this, and I'm like, do I want to do like a sort of prediction for season 2? No, we're not doing that. That's boring. Threw that out. We're not doing that. What we're going to do is we're going bigger. We want to make a movie. We have now the introduction.
We have the time between now and the next season, so you literally could make a movie.
I could come back and do that.
You could write it, shoot it, and release it by the time season 2 comes around.
But no, we're not doing that. We're going to turn this sort of cliffhanger into an epic movie. However we want to do it. So Star Trek Discovery ends with distress call from the U.S.S. Enterprise to the Discovery. That's it. We're starting right there, and we're gonna shoot for the stars, guys. Beyond the Mars defense perimeter, we're gonna go and we're gonna have some fun. So, what do we want to do? How do we want to make this exciting? And God, there's lots of possibilities. So I want to hear what you guys think.
Honestly, that first shot, I mean, that's how we're starting it, with the Enterprise and the Discovery nose to nose. Then we zoom in on a bottle of wine floating between the ships as a symbolic greeting. No, just kidding. That does not do that. Like,
this is the first Discovery in 25 years to launch it. Oh no. Well, yeah. So, yeah, where do you have the Discovery crew, you have the Enterprise. Now, once we put it on the movie screen, question, Daniel, what does the Enterprise look like now? Is it the Discovery? I always feel weird to call it the Discovery Enterprise, but I guess that's what we have to call it. The Discovery Enterprise? Are we doing motion picture movie Enterprise? Are we somehow kicking it OG Enterprise?
Philip, you are asking the tough questions that the writers of Discovery have painted themselves into a corner with and have to figure out themselves. I don't know. I don't know. How do you show the
I have a trajectory
on the movie screen. So is it JJ? I forgot that one. Sorry.
No.
The JJ Enterprise.
Here, this is my idea for a trajectory. We're gonna make this movie. Was the Voyager episode? Was it Fractured or Shattered? I forget the one where they're like.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Shattered, I think.
I think it was Shattered. Yeah. Okay. So let's have this whole movie be a shattered. So
the Enterprise, because I sent out a distress signal, right? The Enterprise sent out a distress signal,
right?
And so, are you saying we could then encounter the Enterprise at various timelines with the Discovery crew going through meeting?
Like I want to literally meet like William Shatner Kirk, and then we also meet. But then we also meet like meet.
You could go JJ too. There's
and then we meet like Zachary Quinto Spock, and then we have third new actor playing Scott. So I want to see.
You could go to Pike era. I mean, if you're doing the Enterprise timeline, you could even go Robert April. I guess that TAS made that canon. You go Robert April crew, and do whatever you want.
So I'm thinking they meet instead into like a nebula or something and I literally want to see the ship that they're looking at like shift and change, and almost like parts of it change, and we see distinctive styles of JJ.
You know how many heart attacks you're gonna give these nerds?
That's the one. No, like JJ
nacelles,
TOS,
Discovery saucer,
and Discovery.
TAS,
but it's basically the
animated.
The point of it, but the point of it is being that everything is mixed in a way that it's okay for us to have these individual stories. Basically, what the 09 movie did with the whole like different timeline, this is to cement that, hey, at the end of it, I want people to walk out going, it's okay that things look different because we're just like a sliver over in universe like B, and that's okay.
So first my problem was, Darren, it felt like you were moving the goalpost in the fact that you would definitely have to settle on something at the end, as this is the Enterprise as it is. But I like the idea of using the established canon and the different universes and styles as a way to introduce a new one, as what it is.
Because by the results of their actions, it is almost a Crisis of Infinite Treks, where
exactly
by fixing the problem, you create a single reality, and then that's what it always was.
Exactly. So yeah, you do the sort of classic 60s bridge and Enterprise, and then you shift to the 09 version, the JJ version, and then you shift to even a Discovery. You could even have a Discovery version, a brand new Discovery version, and then you shift into a whatever, and you do that. You just keep doing that until you say, finally, this is now what it is, and this was born out of the situation, and this is how it's quote unquote always been.
And you have each individual person from their respective ships eventually saying, like, at the end of the day, like, it's all the Enterprise.
It's almost all good things in a way. I mean, not to steal that whole plot, but
kind of
all good things, but like Shattered, where they're going in the turbolift from one section to another, and it literally visually changes.
Yeah, but you could also have, because you're also playing with the Discovery crew. So, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, so you can completely change it. But Michael and someone else go to engineering, so they're meeting whatever you want engineering to be. And someone else is going to the bridge, and someone else is going to, I don't know, the crew mess. Whatever. And so each of those Discovery people will have a reaction with that universe that they're reacting to, and then another Discovery. People, whatever. So that way everyone gets to play a little bit, and maybe at the end, whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally like that. So I feel really bad for whoever the writers are that have to come up with that. Oh wait, that's us.
Yeah.
We are the ones that have to write this and come up with this. Okay, that's cool.
Because you also have, remember, the premise, I mean, I know we all know this, but the premise of the ending is you have Sarek, or at least Discovery Sarek. And so, which Spock will he encounter, because it's been a while since I've watched Babel, so you can technically have him encounter Spock without him encountering Spock. And Michael, and having that storyline, and again, being a Crisis of Infinity Treks where it still as much as it'll make sense,
Sure. I think we have a title now, Crisis of Infinity Treks.
So our start point is the end scene of Discovery Season 1. And our end point is to establish a new foundation for Star Trek, essentially. I mean, a new canon or a new version, at least, of the Enterprise, her crew, that sort of thing.
And you could have it where it's... Go ahead, Darren.
I was just going to say, I see what you're saying, and I agree. I guess what I was also inferring is you're going to have... The Enterprise is going to look different. You're going to have Pike and these familiar names, but they're obviously played by different actors, and they look different. I guess what I'm saying is, in this... I am viewing Discovery timeline, which is the timeline we end up staying in after the movie. So I'm saying that the timeline that we end up in is the Discovery timeline. And, you have actors, you have, characters like Pike and familiar settings like the Enterprise. But at the end of it, I assume there is a Picard in this future. And he does the majority of the things that we expect him to do. Like, if we were to follow this all the way through time. So... kind of in the same way that JJ is, but JJ is, I feel like, a huge divergence as far as like visually and like major story points like Vulcan being destroyed. Like, I feel like the Discovery time is not it. I don't want it to try to pretend to be the prime timeline because it can't be. I'm fine with it being prime A. You know what I mean? Like being a hair off.
You could. And I don't know, because I'm not trying to put forth my editorial opinions of like, I'm just saying this, you don't have to do this. I'm saying a thing where you could find out the Discovery crew will encounter something that's very familiar to us. Again, it wouldn't be Pike because it's Discovery Pike, but it'd be whatever that would be familiar to us as a so-called prime universe. And they're like, oh, this is out of phase of our reality. We're like, knew it. But anyway,
right.
Again,
like Corbinite maneuver guy. Like, let's say they come across
it doesn't.
him.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. And that's that's me. But and then they fix it, and then boom, they're on their like you said, their timeline at the end, and then they've sort of basically nodded the head to like, yeah, this is a different reality. That's not JJ. It's not Prime. It's what we are, and we're like, okay, let's do this then.
Yeah,
and we don't have to, but that's me.
No. And this is the biggest problem, and.
We're trying to solve the problem the writers
How do you
created.
solve a problem like Discovery?
Hey, you shouldn't have made a prequel in the first place. Writers. Oh my god. Okay.
It's okay. We're just gonna make it a prequel, but a sequel to other things because that's gonna make it even harder.
Okay.
Because then you have to. Well, you don't have to, but what you could do is, in your mind, is Enterprise in the Discovery timeline. And again, I'm not saying there wasn't an NXO, you know what I'm saying, but you could then reconcile the look and you could do that if you wanted to and say Enterprise is in the Discovery timeline.
Well, and that's why I kind of like, I think where Darren was originally going, where it's basically establishing that there are just a bunch of universes. I mean, at this point, you kind of can't.
It's not necessarily mirror like everyone's evil, but it's like Prime A, where it's like a tiny bit different as far as visually. It doesn't look like it was made in the 60s. And all the names are the same, and everyone does, the
What
same.
is the 60s you speak of?
So, yeah, exactly. So, just because there are already so many inconsistencies with Discovery, stop pretending that it happened before 60s Star Trek. It didn't. 60s Star Trek is an entirely separate but very closely related,
very close,
unique.
I always like the fellow member of the network, Mike Schindler, theory that the original series is actually the TV version of their history.
The historical documents.
And that's the thing. If you want to continue to say that TOS is part of the main timeline, but you keep introducing things that contradict it,
animated series,
we have to reconcile it somehow. As super fans and Star Trek fans are super fans, you cannot do this without just.
But is it real, Daniel?
So Darren, this is Daniel for you too, but Darren especially. So how would you like to do the animated series? Do you want to just have it real actors, or would you like a CGI?
Okay. No.
Eric's,
all I would do is they have to go down to a planet, and when they go to the transporter room, it's like really blocky. Like it's obviously a 3D transporter room, but all the color scheme is like really like no texture.
Kyle has a mustache.
And they pull out some life support belts and just use those. That's the only thing that we get from the animated series.
They're like, what
is
the
life
hell
support
are these?
belts. They're like, I don't know. It's this pocket galaxy or pocket universe says these are life support belts. Okay. Like where are the spacesuits, Spock? I don't know.
How cool, Darren. How cool would that look when they press those buttons and be like...
And then it's just a little outline glow. And they're like, okay, this is... look, okay, Star Trek does take itself seriously as it should, but I'd think of any piece that this could be like the Guardians of the Galaxy-esque moment where they're literally animated into a like fake force field. And then we just roll with it. And once we cross that line and we sell it to the audience, they're on board.
No, I could almost depending on how much, because I think it's cool to see Erickson Imris personally. But if you didn't want to do that, or if you did want to do it, like they find the life belts, like you said, like they have to go to some part that's damaged, and they're like, "Oh, where's this says spacesuits?" And they press it, and it's just the belts, and they put it on.
Right.
As soon as they
they're
press
like,
the
this
button,
is like it's a teeny tiny locker, and they're like, "Really? This is where they keep the spacesuits?"
And as soon as they press the button, they turn animated. And then they're like,
gosh.
that would blow my... It only has to be for like a minute or two. And then like they get through the pressurized section back to oxygen, turn it off, and I'm like, never doing that again.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. The initial idea here is that we're writing this. So we could do this. But it's a little tricky with the timing with Discovery. But we could easily write this in a way that is consistent. So how would we do that? How would we say let's shift into Prime, let's shift into JJ when we're already kind of before that sort of stuff? Let's shift into animated.
Yeah, because remember and I know you know. So the Enterprise had a distress signal. So this is the distress signal is that they're experiencing dimensional shifts or crew are disappearing and they don't know why. It's because they're going through the dimension. And so there's this thing where they meet Captain Pike of the Discovery era on the bridge or transport or whatever, and they figure out what's going on, and then two members of the Discovery crew, just pick two, fall into this other whatever.
I'd say
TOS.
Michael and Saru.
Yep, Michael
and Saru fall into pick your one, whatever you want. TOS, TAS, JJ, whatever you want. Because again, remember you have Sarek, so again you can have him meet Quinto Spock for those who want to do that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So and then. So though they're lost, and then, like I said, maybe another Discovery crewman goes, or another dimension, whatever. So fast forward. At the end, when they reconcile things, you can still have it almost like not a reset button, but like almost a wipe. And so then at the beginning of Season 2 Discovery, they're encountering the Enterprise that we've now established is the Enterprise, and you can still have
they were meant
a fun story with the two of them in episode 1
to interact. Yeah, so basically it's a pocket story where it doesn't really change anything. At the very end, we're left right with them meeting the Enterprise, except for there's no crazy nebula like time fracture. It also makes me think of the Voyager episode where there was two Voyagers slightly out of phase with each other.
Parallax or Parkalax?
Yeah,
something with
something like that.
Word.
And one of them had, was getting beat to heck, and the other one was like okay and protected. And then Harry Kim crossed over at the very end.
And baby
Naomi Wildman.
Yes.
Thinking
how about over the adventure, you kind of take a character from each alternate universe. So you take Emrys or Simon Pegg Scotty, or you go through this whole thing, and at the end it becomes clear that the only way to sort of this is kind of like a funhouse mirror where it just keeps, it's exploding, it's expanding. We have to stop it. Everything needs to collapse in on itself and create one unified universe. That way you can explore each of the different sorts of things on the journey and then come to a sort of established place where you want all these characters to be.
Yeah, you could, because if you don't want it to be just even though it would be fun to do a bottle episode because you get to see all these cool sets, but 30 minutes in, you could have some sort of like, oh, what's causing this, instead of it just being sort of some sort of natural phenomenon, because of course it's a movie, so you got to have some sort of, well, you don't have to, but you have a tangible villain if you want to just be easy about it, and so they do have to find a planet or another ship or whatever planet, because it's a movie, you can afford it, planet, and then you could have this ragtag mixed landing party. That somehow, using their life belts or whatever, are able to maintain, in the Discovery reality, whatever, and then have an adventure there.
Although I do have the best ending, so when we get to the ending, I got it all figured out.
Well, tell us.
No, we can always write backwards.
Oh, yeah. So, literally, and maybe this might even just be, I don't know, this might be an ending, or it might be an after credit scene.
Well, the human adventure is just beginning.
Well, I'm thinking it's gonna literally like they sail off into the stars, and it's like they're fading away, and then literally like almost into the camera, John Delancey's gonna like turn into the frame and be like, "There, I fixed it," and then he's gonna like snap away, and that's it.
I would definitely like a Q after credit sequence. That would really work.
Now that I think about it, that could be a really
I can
funny,
see it. You could have Q. It's almost
credits.
like The Watchers. What was that? Guardians 2 with Stan Lee. You'd have Q, J.J. Abrams, Rick Berman, and then like just someone else sitting there going, he's like, "I fixed it, guys. Okay."
I like that. I like the idea of Q as the after credits sequence. That's cool. That works for me.
Yeah, that the more I think about it, the more that makes sense as an after credit sequence, because you can choose to ignore it, like it's not as the actual part of the movie, but it's still like a fun nod and tip of the hat.
And the credits would be Star Trek Discovery will return in season 2 CBS All Access, and then.
For the record, Star Trek Discovery writers, you will gain a lot of fan goodwill if you at some point include Q, John Delancey as Q in your show,
or even young Q, any Q.
That would be interesting, young Q, because you could recast.
Or actually, you could have it be John Delancey, because does what he look like in age really matter to a Q?
No.
Yeah, no.
He's technically the same Q in any point in time. He can look however he wants.
Yeah, what you do is
because. Oh my gosh, Q is Deadpool. Q is the one that can break the fourth wall, and he's just like, because I could totally see him being like, "Man, like you guys really went with the blue. Like, was there a sale, on uniforms?"
What you do is it's super easy to do this. You have Q for a whole episode, John Delancey as he is now. And then at the very end of the episode, you have whoever he's interacting with the most, Michael or
it has to be like the most baby. It's got to be Tilly, like super baby face, and he's like, age before beauty, and then
exactly. You have that character say, you're a little older than I would have expected a god being to be, and then he flashes, and he's a CG young John Delancey, and then you just kind of go from there. That would be,
you just have him be another actor playing him, but younger. Like,
yeah,
and it doesn't even have to be like a CG. I would just say, Nick, now he's just Doctor Regenerated. You get your regeneration in, Philip. Now you're happy.
Now, is this like Solo? It's going to be the Q origin story. No, I'm kidding.
Do we want Q to be our impetus for our... Okay.
It's all good things. Like, it's a little too on the nose.
All right, so then we are now at the point where we want to have Discovery reach the Enterprise. The Enterprise is having some sort of interdimensional problem.
It's having an identity crisis.
It's not a problem, Daniel. It's a challenge.
A challenge. It's a crisis.
Well, it's going to challenge the Discovery because they apparently have no captain and no chief engineer. So,
oh yes, we do. Oh, sorry, I was
we
doing
got no captain,
2009.
no goddamn first officer to replace him.
Saru sits down. Oh yes, we do.
And then he clips his little horse hooves together. Click, click.
So how do we resolve this? So we have X amount of Enterprises versions.
Well, they all have to work together.
How do we? And which characters from which eras do I want?
This almost reminds me, this reminds me, if I can use my other franchise, of a multi-Doctor adventure, which they've done several times. Especially bringing back actors who are a little bit older, but they're still playing the Doctor, even companions who are a little bit older. And so, they always bicker at first, even though, they're the same character with the Doctor. They bicker, but then they end up working together, and then, through timey-wimey, well, you saw the 50th, you know what I'm talking about, Daniel. But through, timey-wimey, none of them will remember it after they leave. But anyway,
right.
So.
Well, it makes me think of a recent novel by Dayton Ward called Headlong Flight. I think I talked about it once before, but basically in this novel, there's this planet that is shifting through different dimensions, and it goes between, it's more going through different times, but it goes through, actually it's like time dimensions. It visits 3 different dimensions. It visits post-Nemesis Enterprise E future, TOS pre-Kirk, and you have an old Romulan warbird, and then it also visits Enterprise D time period, but it's post Picard becoming a Borg, and Picard was lost, and so Riker is the captain. And basically, as all 3 ships end up around this planet that's jumping through time, and they have to work together to not only be restored to their proper times and dimensions, but help the planet get back to its starting point and stop shifting. So maybe it could be something like that. Maybe not with a planet, but something is shifting between these different universes, and we can't help it. Maybe a spore drive.
And this wouldn't be my preferred time or my preferred storyline, but you got to work with what you got. So there's people with black badges aboard the Discovery.
That's true.
God, I don't want to do this, but anyway, but it's there, right? It's there. So I'm not saying they're causing. They could be. You could say either Section 31 is causing
a black alert.
Yeah, you could either say they're causing the Enterprise through some sort of experiment with time and temporal. I don't know, whatever. Or that they're trying to take advantage, and so the Discovery crew is almost fighting themselves, or as the Section 31 group out in the open.
There's 2 different agendas.
Yes, exactly. So again, I don't know if there's a tangible villain, or if this is just a natural occurrence that they're trying to exploit, or what. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions, but anyway, not Klingons. That's all I ask.
Well, it could be that they're just all sort of. There's some time issue where they're all kind of converging on this one point at one point in time, and
the shifts are happening faster and faster.
Yeah, exactly. And oh god, there's 4, 5, 6 different universes all coming to the same point at an end point here very quickly. How do we ensure that we are the one universe that comes out on top? And then of course it turns out that the universe that comes out on top is kind of an amalgamation of all of these things, but
with the look of Discovery being the end.
The look of Discovery.
I could almost see that at the end something happens with Captain Pike, because you have to make him a hero even though he's a guest actor, doing something that kind of saves the day, and at the end it's like, oh yeah, you were exposed to that radiation, I think you only have 5 years left, and then you'll have to step down.
Or it could be like Harry Kim, where the Pike technically of the Discovery timeline dies, and the Pike from the TOS timeline steps in, because they're close enough.
I like that.
Because again, we can really do whatever we want with that character. We can Voyager's, we can caretaker him. Where he dies literally in the very beginning. We barely know him, but now this others, and then that actor now plays Pike in season 2.
Wait! You're telling me Discovery is going to have an actor playing a role that's not the person that we thought they were because they're from another dimension.
Yep.
That
I know.
I don't know if I could
stretch.
do that. I don't
But
know.
yeah, so you could have Discovery Pike be, in the first couple of scenes, and then he ends up dying, and then we have TOS Pike, who's literally I'm talking now. This is where they're gonna have to have do their research and do it right because they have
the
to,
uniform. Yeah, with
it's
the
gotta
brown
be
uniform.
Yeah, it's got to be the blue, the blue sweater. It walked out of the '60s, because that's the only way you could do it. The haircuts, all of that. So then he comes in, he steps in to become, the Pike that we see, but he knows enough. It's just a slight variance of what he experienced that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Section 31's just, crapping themselves because they're like, this is not okay. You can't just trade between universes.
What do you mean? They already recruited What's-Her-Face from the Mirror Universe, so... Wait. Is this some sort of suicide squad that Section 31's putting together of pan-dimensional people from Star Trek?
This is how the pan-galactic gargle blaster comes into...
as an aside...
Oh, even better. Oh, gosh. So you were saying 5 or 6 or so different enterprises, right, Daniel? And I was trying to think of 5 or 6 different enterprises. Are we getting a Galaxy Quest reference? Please say yes.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, I'm not even saying a character. I'm just saying someone walks by in a corridor and they're literally wearing a USA Protectorate.
No,
they could be having movie night and watching it or something.
You have somebody named Guy as your as your character, and you're good to go. So, man, just as an aside, real quick, I don't have any emotional attachment to the original Pike. I mean,
right.
Obviously, we only got him in 2 episodes. He
as far as the actor, one, because the guy who played him in Menagerie is another guy.
Yeah. So, whatever, that's fine. I really actually love the character of Pike
from JJ.
From the JJ universe. I actually really Bruce Greenwood. I don't know. How are they going to handle? I hope
guys, we're the writers. We're not casting.
Yeah, you're right.
No. Well, we have.
They
Pike
can figure it out. They can figure it out.
Yeah, we have Pike and it could literally start as a lookalike Pike from TOS, and because it's not going to be in it very much, and then the actual actor that they're going to keep is the one who stays from the Discovery timeline.
We know the Discovery era Starfleet people. They don't catch on really quick. when you replace a captain with a pan-dimensional,
just put him in the right uniform.
Captain,
it's good.
As long as they don't talk about murdering someone, even then they're like, oh well, just having a bad day, I guess.
I hope they do some justice to the character of Pike, but we're gonna do some justice to Pike right now. And all right. So let's say we've now established that Discovery is coming upon the Enterprise. The Enterprise is having some sort of interdimensional problem. Captain Pike is aboard. There's a bunch of other Enterprises that are kind of being intermingled. How do we solve the problem?
Spore drive.
Spore drive
will fix. Literally, it's what could do this. Any ship.
I'm trying to think.
I'm not saying the spore drive it's meant to be used.
That's going to be a good 20-minute part of the movie where they have to create their own mushrooms from this random planet, because that's a great side story. Totally.
Well, okay, maybe it's not a spore drive per se, but it's using the spore drive hardware.
Well, Stamets, this will be his storyline,
Yeah,
obviously.
and they're like
Stamets and Scotty. Come on, guys, whatever Scotty you're using.
Would love a Stamets and Scotty storyline. I think that would be fantastic.
Can it be JJ Scotty? I think it's got to have to be.
I mean, yeah, it kind of has to be at this point, but
well, I mean, it depends. Do you want to hire the son,
or Chris Doohan?
Chris Doohan?
Yeah,
I would not be opposed to Chris Doohan either.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
If any of the descendants, he looks the most like a character from the 60s.
Because I can see where Stamets... Well, I don't know. Stamets is kind of cooled a little bit. Of course, he's also suffering from a loss. But anyway, he could be a little snippy. Not necessarily classic Stamets snippy. But then, Scotty gives him a drink. They bond, and then, they get to it.
I like the idea more. I do like the idea more of Stamets dealing with JJ.
Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Peg. Thank you. I'd love to see Stamets deal with Peg and
the little guy.
yeah, the little guy. God, I can't remember his
gosh.
name either now.
Yeah, I know. You eat a bean and then you're full. Yeah.
And you're full. That would be great. That would
Or
be
though,
awesome.
like, look at it this way though.
Keenzer.
Like
Keenzer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keenzer.
that's right.
I think this is where we have to start introducing like more death. Just meaning like
Because Crisis is always going to be elimination of characters because again, and you can because
and
playing
the point
in the universe.
being that let's say you have Chris Doohan there as TOS Scotty and you have him die.
Yeah.
And all that is saying is that TOS versus Star Trek Continues are slightly different universes. Like that's at the end, that's what I'm just trying to establish is that every time you recast these characters, it's okay because it's just slightly different and we need to get past that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's our whole goal of this movie.
Yes. Yeah. No, and I think it's fine. I would and I think it's fine. I think you have to kill. Well, you don't have to, but you can kill characters. Because again, there's not going to be a lot of actors that are going to be from the original that are going to be able to. So it's going to be a lot of lookalikes.
Yeah,
so,
you probably just can't kill any.
The only
from
message is
JJ.
in this writing this, it can't be that we're killing the other shows. It has to be in a way that makes sense. That, whatever, that dimension goes on, and this didn't really happen, blah, 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 but whatever.
I was going to say, do we go so far as to have JJ Chekhov die off screen? I'm like, no, I think it's a little too far, Darren. A little too far.
Well, you could put, like I said, you could introduce, because a lot of this is going to be a struggle, right, to get the people. You could have JJ verse, and then introduce Eric's, it's the future JJ, it's Star Trek 4 or whatever.
Okay.
You don't, because then you can
That'd
avoid
be
some
cool.
things. Because you only need to hire one actor, again, because again, we're not doing casting, but I am mindful of budget. You can't hire the entire JJ cast and then get the remaining TOS people and CGI them all young and whatever. But
I mean, you could, but
yes. Look, hey, if what's his
the
face?
economics
Russell,
are still what they are in this century. So
if what's his face did that in Guardians 2, at the beginning without CGI.
Kurt
I don't know,
Russell,
man. I don't know, man. It's tough.
I don't know. They've done some amazing things, like Ant-Man in the beginning with young
Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
Michael Douglas is dang good.
Yeah,
You just needed
it's
the
actually
giant
amazing.
cell phone.
Or Civil War with young Robert Downey Jr. was also.
Oh, that's
fantastic.
true.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting
Like
really
if you
good
use
at it.
sparingly. Yeah, use sparingly. It works really well.
We've moved beyond Tron 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh,
that
yes.
was
Bridges.
What's his
Jeff
name?
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Although all they really had to do in that is just like make him a little pixely, like just add distortion, which he's CGI anyway, and I think it would have helped sold it. Like he's a damaged copy, so he shouldn't look exactly like him.
Aren't we all damaged copies?
So here we are, doing a whole episode trying to fix the holes that Discovery writers have kind of dug themselves into. So, well,
Now here's a question: are you going to? Well, you don't have to kill them. You could even have them travel to another universe, sort of a Tashiar thing. Is there any Discovery character you might lose, like a Sarek, like a I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, you couldn't lose Sarek.
Why not?
Remember, this is Discovery Timeline
Because this
now.
is Discovery Timeline now.
Oh, in our rules, yeah. I wouldn't lose Sarek.
I'm not saying yeah, but I'm just throwing that out there. Are we going to lose any from Discovery?
Captain
Not
Philippa
Robo-Lady.
Georgiou. Oh wait,
Yeah. Yes. Lose alternate Philippa Georgiou. I'm totally cool with that. But.
Well, you know what? I was about to say she's not on the ship, but again, we're going to travel, and so maybe Section 31 on Discovery is set out a signal to their brethren, and they're like, oh, pan-dimensional other captains. We know one that's out there, and so maybe she gets incorporated and then kill her off in 2 seconds, and then I'm happy. Whatever.
that would actually be a cool subplot. Is Section 31 actually has the ability and has for a long time to communicate with other Section 31s in all the other universes. And so their overall plan has been to keep everybody separate. They're like, hey, we're like they kind of all got together and said like, hey, we're not going to try to take each other over, or well, no, like the point is, yeah, exactly. It's a standoff war, a Cold War of we're all voting not to try to mess with each other's timeline. We're just going to stay in contact to make sure we don't. And then at the end of this movie is the destruction of that communication system across all. So basically, we're still in separate universes, but now Section 31 black badges can't communicate for nefarious means, because they're all like already there with Discovery. They're like, yeah, you've been in and out of your time, your proper universe a couple of times, so that's already an infraction. So
I like that. I think that's cool. Really, the last thing I wanted to talk about, because we've had a little bit of fun trying to pretend to be the writers.
It even makes sense in Enterprise, because you have Future Guy, a.k.a. Archer, air quotes, and, of course, Section 31 is keeping an eye on it, because that's not supposed to be happening.
Oh, there you go. That totally works. This has been fun talking about, like, how we would.
But this isn't the only dimension we've been talking about. Wait,
but I'm curious. What do you two think is going to actually happen, and what would be your best case scenario? I mean, we are going to.
Are you talking about for Discovery Season 2?
I'm talking about for the
actual
end of
story.
this. The idea that the Discovery is coming across the Enterprise. We are about to see characters that we know.
A few characters. I mean, Pike and Spock.
We're all talking about Spock. We're all talking
pretty
about
important
Spock.
characters.
Number one.
Spock.
Well, no,
Spock,
even Pike is important.
and number one. That's pretty much
and
it.
number one.
And the doctor who likes to drink.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, bartends.
These are significant moments in Star Trek history. How do we want them to handle it? And what do you think is going to happen?
Big, these writers, well, they just hate themselves. They're like, what's the worst scenario we could possibly paint ourselves into, short of killing Captain Picard again?
I don't know. I'm you know me. I don't know. Discovery's my weakness.
What if you saw? Okay. Hey, look, it's the Enterprise. And
then a photon torpedo came out of nowhere, somewhere beneath us, and then boom!
I'm First Officer Spock. You see it on the screen. What do you?
Well, he's not First Officer Spock at this point.
Oh, that's right, Science Officer Spock. Sorry.
Yeah, remember we have number one. She's literally number one, Daniel.
So is he gonna pause and then look at the camera, and then we're gonna get that one tune from the '70s? It'd be like, probably wondered how I got here. Let me tell you about that
Record
story.
scratch.
Record scratch. Yeah. So
well, he's looking up from his science thing.
Okay, so we do all agree that the writers have literally painted themselves into the worst corner possible.
Yeah.
It's how do you? I don't.
Well, the whole.
Man.
I mean, again, I'm not. It won't drive me crazy. Well, only probably because TOS isn't my first jam. But the whole redesign, because you're gonna have to show the ship, and I know we've already seen screenshots, so you got to redesign the Enterprise. And it's like, I mean, I get it. It's not, but why?
But it's not gonna look like the '60s. So.
Yeah, which again, and I agree with you, Darren, that of course it shouldn't look like that. But then don't show it at all, because anyway, because again, like we've seen. Well, hold on a minute. We have seen it. Trials and Tribulations, DS9. We made it fit.
Yep.
And so. Right. It's you could do the whole we can't do that, but then we did it. We did it in the late 90s and said, yep, it still looks that way. So whatever.
Even better, they all go back in time to late 20th century Earth, circa 2019, because we haven't had that yet.
That'd be 21st
We haven't had that
century,
episode in a while.
I would love an episode like that. That would be super fun. I would love Robo Lady to try to fit into Santa Monica.
She's from Argentina.
No. Even better. They end up in this place called San Diego, and it's during some sort of convention, and she just fits right in.
I think that'd be Las Vegas.
I would love.
Las Vegas.
I hope they do an episode where they try to fit into the current time. That's in keeping with Trek tradition. That's a fun sort of concept, and you can have a lot of really good times.
How would Saru fit? Yes, that would be fun.
Yeah, exactly. You can't put a hat on Saru.
I am a Frenchman. No, sir.
Oh man, here's the thing. Guys, we love Star Trek, and it's tough. Star Trek Discovery has put itself in quite the position at this point. for how they're going to handle the situation. We have some ideas how they could get out of it. If you guys want to give us some,
it was all a dream.
If you guys want to give us some writing credit, we'll take it, and a big check as well. But we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I mean, we'll be watching. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be there. We'll be talking about it. But that's what we talked about this week here on SETI Alpha. So what are we going to be talking about next week, Darren?
Next week, we're going to be talking about your show and my show, Star Trek.
Excellent. Hey, Darren, what if people want to get a hold of you and talk to you about, your multiverse theory of Star Trek?
Well, they can visit me and my crazy string whiteboard.
I was just picturing the meme there.
At drsci-fi.com or on Twitter, Instagram, or Dr. Sci-Fi.
And Philip, what about you? If you want to talk to you about Q showing up in Discovery, which would be awesome, how would they get a hold of you?
They can find me at NC Public Servant on Twitter, and I can talk more about time and space on the podcast, Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast with my wonderful wife, each and every week on the network here.
And if people want to talk to me about which universe Enterprise is the best, they can find me at OneUpDown. That's the number one, not the word as in clearly there is one good universe, but I won't tell you what it is unless you ask. All right, fellas, it's been fun, and until next time, I am Daniel Prue.
I am Philip Gilfus.
And I am Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.